What we got going on here is we got a nice Christmas episode. Okay, I want you to picture this episode. This is like the magnetic bumper sticker that says "Keep Christ in Christmas" on the 81-year-old woman's Honda Civic from 2008. That's what this episode is, and it's going to be quick. It's going to be nice. So I think we can all agree. This goes without saying. Christmas time is the best holiday time. It's better than the Halloween whole situation. I like Halloween better than that. Thanksgiving I don't like. And then Easter time's kind of nice, but no, it's Christmas time all day long. And when I think about like Christmas time, I think I'm in Manhattan in a black pea coat. It's just cold enough where the smoke is blowing out my mouth when I breathe out. Slight snowfall. You got the kids in the choir for some reason behind me. They're singing "Christmas Time Is Here" like it's the beginning of Charlie Brown Christmas. Oh, you're window shopping. Everything is like in that yellow-hued light, the windows, right? Everything's shiny. There's like mannequins everywhere. That's Christmas time, okay? Now, I must say, there's not many negatives to Christmas time, but I just experienced one a couple days ago, which is, I think we could all agree. If you're near a mall, if you're within a mile or two radius of a mall during Christmas time, specifically the last week before Christmas, you would think that everyone around there just fully forgot how to drive or operate a vehicle, anything. So you get again, around a mile away, and people are starting to veer into other lanes. They're not using blinkers. It's a complete mess, okay? Now you get to the parking lot. The parking lot is that same concentration of people, but now it's in a little cesspool where people are backing into each other. Everyone's arguing. People are swooping into other spots. This is the best move, where like someone's walking out of a store, and then you're kind of like trying to like cue them down, and then they're like, "Yeah, I'm right over here," but there's already a guy waiting. So then it's like I'm the scumbag for stealing his spot. It's no one ever will know, and no one knows currently like the actual rules of the parking lot. And you could be there for 45 minutes. You're wasting half your tank of gas trying to find a spot. So by the time you're supposed to have this nice experience shopping in the mall for Christmas time, you're hot. You're pissed off that you had to wait in the parking lot for 45 minutes doing circles, right, arguing with people. So now you get in the mall. My mall, the first couple stores, one of them, the big one, is Apple, okay? Now, if you've been in an Apple store in the last year or two, but specifically the last 6 months, I swear to God, you would still think that we're in like some nuclear fallout, like the actual Black Plague is happening as we speak. You walk in there, everyone that works there has their mask stapled to their face. They can barely see, okay? It's insane. They're all condescending. If you even make eye contact with one of the devices, God forbid you look at an Apple Watch Ultra, they're going to run right over to you. Hey, sir, there's a 3-hour wait. So now I got to wait on a fucking line that's 4 hours long to even look at the products I might want to buy. The balls on them, Apple. Then, again, God forbid you scheduled an appointment with the Genius Bar. This is another thing that they've done. I don't know what actual scum of the earth guy who works for Apple at the top greenlit this in the boardroom, but calling their like customer service division the Genius Bar, calling them geniuses, is all those people needed for their ego. You get over there. God forbid, maybe you dropped your phone, your screen cracked. Who knows? Maybe you know what? Maybe your laptop just stopped working. Okay, you get over there. It's a guy, probably dropped out of high school, neck tats, face tats. He looks like Lil Xan. Again, condescending as ever, telling you how your machine works, and if you, God forbid, you ask any questions about the device that you bought, you're the bad guy. So Apple is just, out of control. Now you get out of Apple, you're walking down the rest of the mall, and they're playing Christmas music, which is a good vibe. The issue, again, I don't want to be negative Nancy here, but I want to speak to the CEOs of these malls. Play the classics. Play Burl Ives. Play, play the Jackson 5, okay? Play Nat King Cole. Give me some Dino Spumoni, Dean Martin, okay? Maybe throw in some Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by the Beach Boys. Some of this stuff. You could also play The Goat, Last Christmas by Wham. But I don't want to listen to Justin Bieber sing Jingle Bells with his vocal fry. I don't want to listen to Ariana Grande do a rendition of All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. I don't want to listen to any of that garbage. I want to listen to the classics. So now I'm walking to this mall. You got the people, again, who just came out of the woodworks of society, who haven't been outside in a year and a half, but they have to shop for Christmas. So they're walking 2 miles an hour, 4 across from each other, all having a conversation in the wrong aisle. So you can't even get around people. You're trying to listen, I'm efficient. I dip and I dive. I'm efficient. When I shop, I know where I'm going. I got a place to be, and I'm there. So, what a scenario. And actually, let me say one last thing about the music. I know I mentioned Last Christmas by Wham. If you know me, if you've known me in my life, if you really have known me, you know that Last Christmas by Wham is the best. I mean, one of the best songs that's ever been made. In fact, I truly believe like society and the existence of human beings are split into before Wham and George Michael made that song and after. Seriously. I can't even imagine a world during Christmas time where that song doesn't exist. If you want to go on, you want to be a nice guy, nice girl, you want to go on, you want to go on my Spotify. My current rotation is loaded up right now with Christmas music. Of course, Last Christmas is first, to the point where, let me put the mic down for a second. I even own a Last Christmas Wham t-shirt. That's how fucking nuts I am. I was shopping in H&M like 4 fucking years ago, and I saw this shirt and I said, holy shit. I don't even want to buy this. I actually physically need it like I need oxygen. So let's put the mic down for a second. Let's see if I can show this off, this puppy off. Let's see if I can show this puppy off, all right? So we're working with a full-on Wham situation here, okay? Wham Last Christmas, like I'm George Michael himself, all right? And that's special. R.I.P. George Michael. You watch that music video, and my voice is going right now. So I'm getting emotional about this song right now. You watch that music video. You got like people like George and the whole team over at Wham. I mean, everyone's in a log cabin. It's snowing outside. They got red Christmas sweaters on. They're all happy to see each other, drinking hot cocoa and fucking eggnog. I mean, it's out of control. The vibes in that video. So, I mean, that was my only gripe with the mall in terms of the music is play the classics. I don't want to listen to Ariana Grande sing. So I don't listen to fucking Post Malone sing an old song that some actual person who everyone recognizes is the song sang. So anyway, and let's actually not even get off of music for a second. Also, I'm getting tired of mainstream rap. It's so overdone. It's brutal. It's the same song over and over again. It's been this way for 4 years. It's almost embarrassing, right? When I like see on like a New Music Friday on Spotify or like whatever Apple does for like when new releases come out every Thursday night at 12 a.m. It's literally like a Polo G song over a piano. It's a Lil Baby song with like a guitar, and it's the same flow over and over and over again. It's just I don't know how people listen to this. I don't know how people listen to this. Mainstream music isn't that bad right now, but there's a lot of good things in pop. And even R&B, but I mean, the hip hop and rap is a complete joke. And actually, I saw a TikTok, and my blood boils with this TikTok stuff sometimes. Some of the terminology they use. So this was one of the TikToks I saw. It was biggest bags in music history. Okay, now keep in mind again, it says music history. Apparently, whoever made this only thinks music history is the last 3 years only in hip hop. Okay, so the first one is, and these guys have balls to make these types of videos. The first one is Street Gossip through My Turn, Lil Baby. That's an era, first of all. Okay, My Turn's a good project, I guess. That's like the tail end, I'd say, of Lil Baby being like palatable. Street Gossip's a little mixtape. It had a couple tracks that are like listenable as well. If you're going to talk about a Lil Baby bag, first of all, he's nowhere near one of the biggest bags in music history. But, I mean, if you want to talk about like being in a fucking bag for some type of like era, if it was going to be Lil Baby, if you're going to nitpick that, this is where we're going way before Street Gossip. We're talking about My Dog Freestyle. Who made this video? A 12-year-old? I mean, really, he was just born when Street Gossip came out. I don't understand. Next one is, I mean, they consecutively get worse. The next one is Orange Haired Wanna. Era? That's one album. That's literally the album Wanna, which sure I enjoyed as well. But I mean, that's one album of his, and it's not even his best. Okay. So now we go from the Lil Baby again. It's the same fucking music. Lil Baby, Ghana, right? You're gonna have to I love Lil Kid, all this shit. The next one is just made my blood boil. I hate Roddy Ricch. Nothing personal against him. I think his music's trash. The last one that I saw, and I couldn't take it anymore. I just swiped up after this. Was 2019 through 2020 Roddy Ricch. What kind of bag are we talking about here? Okay, that was one fucking album. And it was shit, that album. The Box, you couldn't, every time the Box came on the radio, I would have to roll my window down. I had to fucking hit the window down and just throw it up outside the window. Like, if this was Christmas time, thankfully, we'd be in 80 miles of traffic, so I would just be able to open the door and do it. But either way, 2019 to 2020, Roddy Ricch, the only project that's listenable that he made is fucking is 2018. It's fucking Feed the Streets 1 or 2, or I don't even remember which one it was. So the point is that these 12-year-olds are going on TikTok, and that's another thing. Oh my God, I didn't actually hate the Metro Boomin album. There's a couple tracks I like on it a lot. I've been listening to, but the Weeknd song where he covered basically they use the same arrangement and they cover the Mario Winen song or Winin song. All these kids on TikTok who think that Weeknd verse and that song is like an original, it actually makes me sad. Maybe it makes me sad because I feel like I'm old, but I mean, stop it here already. I mean, Jesus Christ. So that's like my music take, I guess. I'm trying to think of another thing I was discussing. Actually, I'll say is, so I was in the car, and what I do, and again, I would highly recommend go to my Spotify. I have such a very, very, huge Spotify library. It took me like so much time to transfer over from Apple to Spotify. I mean, we're literally talking like months. Playlists out the ass, like chronological order, the whole nine. Anyway, my current rotation is probably the best one to listen to because it's pretty much updated every week. Music that I listen to, old, new, all different types of genres. Right now, I mean, believe it or not, I've been Latino Urbano. I've been so into, give me some fucking old Daddy Yankee, Tu Principe. Give me some fucking, let me tell you right now, I know Bad Bunny's like super huge, but like Bad Bunny and J Balvin had that collab album. I think it was in 2019, and they have La Canción on that album. That's one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life. Okay, and then my favorite out of all of them, Raúl Alejandro. Oh my God! So I've been heavy into Latino Urbano. Okay, if you want to listen to a song that you feel like you're a shortstop in the DR, walking up with the bases jacked, bottom of the ninth, that's the type of music you're gonna listen to. So anyway. Follow my current rotation. It's always updated, very, very diverse. It's a good listen. Anyway, it's stacked up with a lot of Christmas music now, as you can imagine. But as I was saying, what I do is sometimes when I'm driving, I'll actually just shuffle my whole library, like my 10,000 songs, and see what I want to listen to, and then I listen to it. So a couple days ago, I was in the car, and I think Scott and Ramona came up by Uzi, and I was like, damn, this is such an amazing song. And I was like, yo, this. Like, that mixtape, I'm not even going to go out on a limb here. This is like, let's call a spade a spade. Lil Uzi Vert, it's hard to say it, Verse the World 1, like the first one, is one of the best mixtapes or projects in rap in the last 10 years, I think. I really do. Not only was it so, like, it's just incredible, right? And so I was thinking about, like, oh, my God, there's not even a skip here. And when I first started listening to it, and I loved it when it came out, like, High Roller was my favorite. And then, like, as time goes on, I don't even know what my favorite song is now. I mean, I think objectively, though, when you look at it, like, You Is Right probably is the best. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, all right, when you're, like, taking in music, is the best song on a project the song that when you first listen through a couple times, you loved first because you're hearing them all fresh, and, like, it's like, all right, this is the one that is the best, like, to me? Or is it the one where after you've, like, digested a project for months and even years, and then you're like, all right, no, this is the best song on the album? It could go both ways because in the latter, a lot of times that first song that you loved, it might have gotten old at that point. So then the last song that you fell in love with might be that song that you think is the best, or it might be that you have, again, just a very, like, veteran type listen. You've listened to the album so much that now you have a good idea, you have a better idea what the best song is. Listen, these are the things I think about because I love this shit. So if you have an idea, if you have an opinion on that, why don't you leave a comment below? And while you're at it, why don't you like and subscribe? How's that sound? Next, let's see. What do we got to talk about next? Oh, okay. This is a shout out to one of my listeners, one of my viewers here, one of my subscribers actually. His name is Jake Siegel. Went to college with him. Great kid. Actually, we went to where'd we go? We went to one of what the fuck's the horse race in Long Island? The Triple Crown? Belmont. We went to Belmont. It's fun. Anyway, he asked me a question, and I'm going to address that question. And that question was, what is my opinion on spray tans? So again, Jake from Wissahickon, he is asking, my subscriber, he's asking, again, I'm going to repeat it again. He was asking, what is my opinion on spray tans? And I'm going to tell you my opinion on spray tans. When he said spray tans, I'm assuming he meant just like fake tans. So when I was a young kid, when I was a young lad, especially in college, I would fake tan actually in the winter because I kind of wanted to just. Everyone knows when you're tan, you look better. Now, as I've gotten older, it's twofold. I don't tan anymore because it's just bad for you, and I've taken skincare very seriously, and especially with my tattoos, I don't want to like fuck them up with UV. So I don't do it for that reason. And then secondly, I mean, now I'm still young, but like it's like, do I want to be that guy in the middle of winter who like everyone's pale and I'm the guy who looks purple? Like there was a guy in my gym like a couple weeks ago who classic guy. He's wearing a fucking like a stringer. Looks like he's wearing a bra. Purple as anything. Like he looks like he just walked off the plane from Hawaii. And yeah, he's fucking tanned out. Everyone else is pale. He looks like a moron. So yeah, I'm probably against it. Now, spray tans, I guess, are different because you're not affecting the skin. And if you do it like a little bit, it doesn't look bad. It looks like you just look better. And by the way, I'm talking about for guys. Girls, go tan. You look amazing. So like, the tanner a girl. Not I mean, listen, let's not get crazy where you're orange, but like, usually with a girl, you want to be tan. Okay, but with a guy, I mean, how far? What's the slope? How slippery is that slope? I mean, next thing you're gonna be wearing fucking makeup. You're putting foundation on with your fake tan. No. So I don't really. I feel like I should have more of a strong opinion on this, but I don't. I used to do it. I don't do it anymore. Kind of a little bit of a game. I don't know, but that's my opinion. So thanks for the call, Jake, and that's what I got here on that. Now let's I guess since we were talking about let me unlock my computer for a second, so I have some decent reference points here. Yeah, since we're talking about the gym, actually, I could talk about that. So I tweeted about this. It's so I think it's TikTok has been able, and that's what's scary is that you hear all the theories about like how China is like they own. I don't know. You just hear all these theories about their TikTok versus our TikTok and all this stuff, and it's like I'm seeing firsthand that TikTok is influencing a generation. And it's not, it is in a bad way, but like it's just not. I'm not saying it's like the craziest thing ever, but 100% influencing the generation. Like now, every kid is clued into the same exact subject matter. They're all experts in the same thing, or they all know things in the same thing. They all like they're able to like fill out these archetypes easier. And the one that I wanted to talk about again, and I've said this many times. I've probably mentioned it on my podcast a couple of times. I've tweeted about it, but the Nike Blazer Young LA archetype kid is a very odd one. The kid who now is like a like circadian rhythm god because of Andrew Huberman. He's a Brad Martin fan, which I love Brad Martin, but like he's a Brad Martin fan in a weird way. Like you feel like I don't know, it's a little weird. Nike Blazers in the gym. I mean, listen. The I guess the closest thing to the Nike Blazer in the gym is the Chuck Taylor, but the difference is I'm going to give the Chuck Taylor a slide because it's like a gym institution. It isn't neither. I mean, listen, I get that it's zero drop. It's better for weightlifting than a lot of other stuff that's unstable. Having said that, because it's so fucking narrow, I mean, it's just like you're way easier gonna pronate and then you're gonna fuck up your knees or you're just gonna like I don't know. It's not the best shoe to wear when you're lifting, and so now to just wear a different iteration of it that looks just cheesier and more brutal, like the Blazer, is miserable. And again, you got the same thing. You got the best Pro Shops hat. I thought this would go away by now. No. Best Pro Shops hat, the stringer when you're not even in shape, which, again, I'm not judging, but, I mean, come on, bro. Dangling earring, fucking Young LA joggers, I guess, or, like, raw gear joggers, and the Nike Blazers. And the mullet, obviously. I didn't mention the mullet. So it's just really, like, it's scary to me that all these kids, they're all taking, like, ayahuasca. Or not ayahuasca. I'm sorry. It's like they're all taking, like, ashwagandha and maca root. They think their dick's getting harder. It's like, this is just a placebo generation. And listen, so placebo is good sometimes because, like, it gives you that confidence that if it's working, it's working. Having said that, like, they all think that they're, like, biohacking. These kids, they're, like, 12. They're biohacking these kids. I saw a kid today, and again, I love this enthusiasm. There's a kid who, like, honestly was, like, a 85-pound soaking wet, and he's, like, doing, like, lat spreads in the mirror. That would have never gone on back when I was, like, a kid. I remember, like, when I was a kid and YouTube fitness was, like, first bubbling up, Matt Ogus, Chris Lovato, even like a little bit later on, David Lade, but then earlier on, just a bunch of people, right? Even like Scooby, way back in the day. It was a place for motivation, and it was a great YouTube fitness was great. Scott Herman Fitness, all this stuff, but in real life, it was like weird to be at a gym and see someone doing that in real life. Now it's so like widely accessible and like so widely not that it's widely accessible. It's just so like I guess, accepted that like everyone's got a fucking camera in the gym now. Like kids are rolling in like 8 people deep to be on one bench. They're on the bench for 3 hours. Like they're taking fucking. It's really crazy. So it's interesting how that culture's unfolded. But I think TikTok has a lot to do with everyone. Oh, that's another thing. Everyone's like a Sigma, right? They're ruining things. They're ruining like Blade Runner 2049. It's a good movie. But now, like, everyone's, like, hyper-romanticizing, like, what's her name? I can't even think of her fucking name. Really hot. Ana de Armas. They're all romanticized. And then the biggest one, obviously, is American Psycho. Now, American Psycho is so good and was such a big deal for a long time, even before this TikTok bullshit, that, like, it doesn't even ruin the movie. But, like, the amount of, like, just the Sigma talk, Pat Bateman things are just insane. So we're living in a scary time. I think it's going to only get scarier. I think we're in for a rude. I mean, I thought I was gonna be in the ground by time like we were gonna start doing like chips in your brain stuff, like I said a couple podcasts prior, but I don't think so, man. I think we're fucked. I do. I think anything this is scary. And the last thing I'll talk about with the gym actually is so I had just like many people, I had watched David Goggins' episodes on Rogan and on other podcasts, on Jocko's podcast, and I think he was on Jocko's podcast. And awesome, and his story was great. But let me tell you right now, that did not do his life story an ounce of like do. It did not do it any. It's such an amazing life story that he's like Jesus Christ walking. I swear to God, the amount of trauma that I'm not going to give anything away, but the amount of like hardships and obstacles he had to overcome in his childhood from when he was 0 to fucking like 14 to 19, whatever you want to say, and to get to where he was and to get to where he is so incredibly like uplifting. And I don't want to use the word motivating, because motivating to me, and just like to him, and he kind of echoed that sentiment in the book, is a very dangerous thing, because motivation is temporary. You want to be, I mean, he says driven, but like I don't even know what the right word is, but it's just such a so his book Can't Hurt Me, I couldn't recommend more for anyone to read. Actually, what I would recommend doing is buying the physical book and then also buying the audiobook, because you're able to obviously read along with the audio at the actual book, but then he doesn't read the book himself, but that his author does, but then he will interject in the middle of paragraphs and just speak into more detail about what's going on in this particular part of the book. And then they do a post-chapter, like almost podcast, where they discuss. Unbelievable. So I would recommend doing both of those. But so that book, it really changed the game for me in terms of just like being able to look at someone who's a human being who can do things that are just like extraordinary, like really, like just in the purest sense. Again, I can't really speak about it because I don't want to give anything away. But yeah, unbelievable. So because of that, I mean, I had been really back into my whole grind for the last month. But I mean, this put like an extra kick in my ass. That like I actually like I mean, I don't, who knows if this will last, right? But I run outside still like 3 times a week, and it's cold now. It's like 32 degrees in the morning. I've been getting up like very early, and it just feels good. And this is the first time like in a while that I've gotten like this is an all systems go for me. And when I think about like how much he gets off on that pain and like the temporary like discomfort, it's amazing. But if you take nothing else away from that book, as I was saying, forget about motivation, forget about like just his life story is so worth reading, because it is so uplifting, and it'll just change the perspective. Similar to when you watch a Soft White Underbelly video, it'll change the perspective on how lucky maybe you are for the way you were brought up, and how many, if not a lot of people's circumstances, especially as kids, which form the rest of your life, were just not in the same level of luck or fortune as you. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm running about, I would say about 1.5 miles to 2 miles every other day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then I spin Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes Saturdays. Then bodybuilding or like whatever, lifting-wise, I'm hitting basically a push-pull legs, but I hit that cycle twice. So it's a 6-day, I guess, program. But on that 6th day, the second leg day, it's more of like a functional, like knees over toes, like type of stuff like that, because I'm trying to really just like optimize everything. So I'm doing very heavy range of motion, especially on my squats. Even and also like on my RDLs, I'm really trying to stretch. Like I feel like weighted stretch is something that I've never taken too seriously, and I want to do that. But more than all those things, second leg day, which is on a Saturday, I really want to really try to get involved with just being. I guess I know they call it. It's a little cliche, but bulletproofing, right? So I want to be able to bulletproof my knees and just feel a little bit better because I have extremely, a little too much information, but I have extremely flat feet. So my knees pronate and that stems up to the hips. So especially when you're handling heavier weights, it's just you got to really make sure that things are all in line. So to be able to strengthen all that stuff, especially your arches, and then I've been using a lot of barefoot shoes, and I run barefoot. And if you're hearing me say this and you don't know what that means, I'm not physically running like barefoot, but I run with. There's two different things you could wear. You could wear like those Vibram 5 fingers, which look goofy, which like I'm sure you've seen like that short Jack dude who's in every town. I feel like wearing. I feel like they're always in like a coffee shop in the morning. But yeah, he's wearing like green like frog shoes. They look like with your individual toes. Or you can wear like basically a minimalist shoe, which is 0 toe drop, so there's no difference in elevation from your heel to your toe, and extremely low stack height. So like basically nothing. So it's just a piece of rubber, maybe a little bit of cushion, just in like maybe the balls of your feet. So if God forbid you step on something when you're running outside, you don't damage your foot. So that helps extremely much to strengthen your arches and really everything, especially if you use good form. So I've been doing that, working out my feet as well. And that's really, I'll stop bitching and talking about and carrying on about my my training. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, another thing I'll say, and I don't want to be negative, but here I am, is again with this generation. I mean, there's someone who I follow on Instagram. I'm not going to name names, but I'm sure that some people follow this person as well that are going to watch this. But when I read that David Goggins book and I realized that like people have it way worse, and then like there's people that are doing things that are just in a level that you couldn't even imagine in terms of physical and mental stress and all this stuff. And then I see someone on Instagram who is posting about how they're crying because they're so proud of themselves that they were able to stay outside in the cold online to wait for an SNL show to get seated in for 3 hours. I mean, it's a fucking joke. I mean, you're in a fucking Canada Goose jacket, waiting online to watch a show, and it's just like, grow up and have some like. It's just insulting to most people. I'm not saying I'm this like really hardworking fucking Navy SEAL guy, but like it's insulting to me and to anyone ever who does anything that requires some type of like grit and like just doing something that you don't want to do in that moment to better yourself, and then to see this person fucking or anyone just like post some brutal shit about waiting online and how proud you're crying. It's like, first of all, anyone who's posting themselves crying, get a grip. Okay, that shit should remain private. Okay, unless like you're some like really popular person with a platform where like you can, I don't even know. Stop with that shit. If you're a regular person, you're not an influencer. I don't want to see your like full spectrum of emotions on your fucking social media. All right, so that's really that. And to continue with the deep talk. I know this is a Christmas episode. I wanted to keep it light, but we're gonna get deep. 27 is a weird 27's a weird year. So I'm 27 years old, and it's just interesting to me because you're at this stage where you're not old at all. You're still well within the prime of your life, but you're not like a quote unquote kid. And more than that is that you're in this like stage where half of the people that you're involved with that are your age are skewing older by a lot, and half of them are skewing younger by a lot. There's no one, I would say, who acts 27, if that makes sense. Most people are either going to be getting married or are married or looking to have kids or have kids and are trying to be 40 already and be all mature and like, oh, they don't do this, that, the other thing that they used to do, even though it was like a year ago. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but like they're just trying to force this growing up situation, or maybe they just truly are just very mature. And then the flip side is the people who are, again, my age, who, like, want to still just black out every day, go out Friday night, Saturday night on the weekends, and have, like, no actual, like, priorities, and just, like, be just very shallow. And, again, there's nothing wrong with that either. There's a time and a place for that in your life. But then if you're someone who's like a little introspective, you're thinking to yourself like, who am I? Like where am I in this again, this age spectrum where it's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to feel young or I'm supposed to feel old. I don't feel young, but I don't feel old. Like I don't feel like I'm in my 30s and I'm like, but I also don't feel like I'm 21 and like I'm wet behind the ears and all this stuff. So it's just a very weird. I don't know what it is. It's just confusing. Sometimes I walk around and I feel a little confused, and I'm sure that's not a bad thing. I actually have a book. It should be right here. A book that I'm planning on reading. I don't even know. I don't have it with me actually. I thought I did. I guess my my next book is Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. But one of my next books is Passages. That's what it is. It's called Passages. It's by a female author. I'm forgetting the name, but it's just such an interesting concept to me. It's basically, and I could be getting this wrong, so if I'm getting this wrong, I apologize. But like each chapter or each like section of the book is like basically outlining a different decade in your life. So your 20s, 30s, all the way up until like I think your 70s. And I'm excited to read that because I think it's just going to give me a cool outlook on like where I am. Sometimes I think we feel like we're in this giant race to like get to where we are, even though there's so much time. I mean, even myself, I've switched careers already in my mid-20s. I didn't think I would, but I did. Like hopefully, like down the road in my life, I could do this full time. That'd be insane. So there's just a lot of like interesting things about how like to think and feel at this age. Again, some of my best friends are getting married. Some of my best friends are still like frat kids, which is fine. Like everything, I don't know. So very, very cool, very interesting. And that's really all I got to say. I mean, I guess the last thing I'll say, period, is this is funny. So again, with the age thing, I'm like, again, I feel young because I am young, but the difference is that like I was in my sink yesterday. I'm in the bathroom. I think I literally like was getting like toothpaste out of my medicine cabinet, and it dropped in the sink with the water on, and like that's always a mess if you do that. And I swear to God, I said the phrase, "Geez Louise." I just said it, and I didn't even realize in the moment that I just said that phrase, until like a second or two after, and I was like, "Oh my God, I just said geez Louise." I don't even think I've ever heard anyone say that really that I know. Why am I saying that? That's brutal. Like that's absolutely. I almost had like a. I don't know. I had some type of like psychotic break where I was just like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with me?" And that's like a very slippery slope. The Jeez Louise slope. It starts at Jeez Louise, then you're saying holy mackerel, then you're saying a lot of weird shit, and it's just not a place I want to be right now. In my life at 27, I don't want to be in the Jeez Louise lane. I don't. And it's also funny what you hear like. Things can trigger phrases and memories that like you didn't even know you had anymore, and it's just interesting to me. This is another thing. I was in my kitchen like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like blending my fucking like smoothie in the morning that I drink, and I hear in like the back of my head basically that I have the urge to say this term. I swear to God, I have this urge to say like the word. It's two words: Pecos, Pecos, Bill, Bill. But I'm not just saying it normally. In my head, I'm hearing it like this. I swear to God, I'm hearing Pecos Bill. I'm hearing Pecos Bill over and over again, like for like I don't know, like 5 times. And I go, so then I say it out loud. Now my conscious thoughts come out. So I go, Pecos Bill. And then I go, what the fuck is that? Pecos Bill. So then I fucking like phonetically think about how I'd spell it. And then I Google it. And sure enough, Pecos Bill he's like a folklore character, like Paul Bunyan from the Midwest. That is like a children's story, which means, clearly, and I do remember this now that I connected all the dots, I must have like read about Pecos Bill when I was like in 2nd grade. And then, yeah, I guess I just, like when I was a kid, would say that over and over again because I thought it sounded funny. Pecos Bill. I don't even know. Maybe I'm nuts. Who knows? Maybe I'm not normal, but I would say that now, like, I hadn't thought of that for 15 more. I hadn't thought of that for like 20 years, maybe. Boom. I'm blending some celery, a little bit of beets, fucking carrots, rainbow carrots, that is, turmeric, ginger, pineapple, frozen berries, banana, the whole little 8 ounces of water, ginger. And I have the urge to say, Pecos Bill. I mean, life is crazy. The human brain is out of control. It's another name like that I never really said, but it reminds me of like that stuff. Like in high school, Don Quixote. I don't even know who that is, but Don Quixote. That goes to show you also like the school system. Half the shit you're learning, no one cares about. It's just these like words to you. that just don't mean anything. Like I remember I was like learning in like high school, like the volume of a cylinder that's rotating around an axis. Who in the world would ever need to know that? No one needs to know that. But yet, when I think about that, I remember one of the words that was used in that type of algebra or whatever. I don't even know what that is. I think it's calculus, actually, was truncated. It was like a truncated cone spinning about a fucking axis or some shit. And so I used to think the word truncated was funny, and I said the word truncated all the time. I think that's also how lingo starts. I'm a big lingo guy. Always have been, always will be. And that's why I like things like Pecospil start. Or like, one last thing. I went to Penn State, a lot of Philly people, and with the Philly people come various slang terms that I would have never heard if I didn't obviously be there, like John, or using the term bull as in well, actually, this is hysterical. So bull, referring to someone as a bull, like a guy, is when I first started, I was like, oh yeah, B-U-L-L. Nope. It's could be one of two ways. It's B-O-U-L or B-U-H-L. Who fucking makes these things up? So anyway, John and bull, funny things, and my really good friend, one of my best friends, that is, he would say, I think this is a character, this is like a president in one of the African nations. His name is John Bull Dow. So, like, John is in the name and Bull is in the name. So that he would just say, oh, John, he would, like, call something a John Bull Dow, and then I started doing it, everyone started doing it. And here I am, I'm 27 years old, I still say John Bull Dow all the time. Still say John Bull Dow, like it's nothing. I say, I have lingo for everything. So, that's interesting. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. It's been a fun time. I'm going to try to squeeze in some Christmas movies. I know that I feel like we all do this, or at least a lot of us do this, is that we procrastinate with Christmas where, like, everyone's busy, and then all of a sudden it's Christmas Eve, and we're like, fuck, we didn't watch enough Christmas movies or listen to enough Christmas music. And then it's, like I said, Christmas Eve, you get as much in as you can, and then all of a sudden it's the 26th of December, and you're still in the Christmas spirit and the vibe and the mood, but you got to wait a full year again. So I'll try to watch some more movies. You got Christmas Vacation, always a classic. Home Alone, I mean, I'm not an Elf guy at all. And there's a lot that I'm forgetting that I'm not even going to mention, because the more I mention, that means that the ones that I leave out that I liked, I'm going to be upset about after, and I'm not going to re-record this and edit it back in. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, if you think I'm funny, or you think I have a good radio voice, which I've been told I have a good radio voice, or you think I make good points, or I resonate with you, or anything, why don't you hit this fucking subscribe button, please? TikTok likes and likes and comments and fucking views are flying off the fucking shelves. YouTube is impossible. I get like 40 views a video, one comment a video if I'm lucky. Subscribe, hit the bell so when I post once fucking every other week, you see it. Like, comment, and hopefully I'll be bringing some more content to you. I'm going to be a little bit busy in January, but after that, hopefully I'm going to try to get to a weekly basis, one episode a week. And we got a lot of sports stuff going on as well. We just saw Zach Wilson get benched in the third quarter, basically. What a brutal. I mean, I could talk about that for days. I don't have the energy for that right now. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, whatever else, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Have a great one, and I'll be back hopefully very soon. Bye-bye.